Hello there. Welcome to today's session of Every Mark Matters with Mr. Mac. Today we are having a look at Edexcel History, Paper 2, the American West. And what we are going to do is we're going to have a look at a bit of a prickly question, actually. And we're going to have a look at writing a narrative account, analysing the developments of the spread of the railroad networks in the years 1862 to 1875. And this is a prickly question because actually lots of students either miss it out or actually just make an absolute hash of it when they come to do it in the real GCSE. But it's actually dead easy. The reason why people often miss it out is because it's not something that you are regularly taught. This question is basically asking you to describe. It's asking you to simply just tell the story and to say what happened as opposed to why did something happen. So let's begin by breaking up this question. So to begin with, this question, just like others, has a command phrase. And within this particular context, it is, of course, write a narrative account. And all you need to do here is you just need to tell the story. It's easy. You are simply just describing your knowledge. And you are going to structure it as beginning, middle, and it's dead easy. It's a really easy question to do. If we have a look at the focus of the question, our focus is the development in the spread of the railroad networks in the years 1862 to 1875. What a lovely question. So, do you want to now annotate the word focus with what knowledge you have about the development of the spread of the railroad networks within that period? And we'll come back together and we'll have a look and see what we can work together with that. Okay? I'll see you shortly. Press pause, I'll see you shortly. Okay, right, so welcome back. Right, let's have a quick look then. So, I hope you went away there and you annotated the word focus with what you know about the development of the railroad network. So, firstly, let's almost annotate the word focus with beginning, middle, and end. So, let's just start with the creation. So, I'm actually just going to annotate the word, I'm going to write down the word creation, and I'm going to mention about the fact that, well, you have Union Pacific, and you have Central Pacific. Central Pacific. I tell you what I am going to do is because I absolutely love him, I'm going to refer to the fact that it was created by President Lincoln. I mean, I don't actually think he wasn't laying the tracks, but you know, he was the one who came up with passing the law and so on. What else have we got? Well, they were in a race, weren't they? So I'm just going to write up the word race. What else do we do? Well, it's to increase settlement. I'll come back to increasing settlement later as I'm eyeing it up for my motif. What else do we need to do? Well, remember, they gave away 40 million acres of free lands. The railroad companies were given $16,000 per mile as a loan. What else? Well, what is the impact? Well, as you can imagine, it was a rapidly increased settlement. Why did he do that? Well, it was easier, wasn't it? What else do we have? Is we also have, well, we've got manifest destiny. What else? What other impacts are there? Well, if you remember correctly, it contributes to the extermination of the buffalo. And then finally, well, if you can get a train to go west, you're not going to take the Oregon Trail, are you? So it closes the Oregon Trail. Okay, right. So there's our focus. Let's have a look at the second order concept. So I'm going to write this up here, just in this corner over here. So our second order concept. And again, it is a narrative. And again, I really just want to emphasize the fact that all you are doing here is you are just simply telling the story. And our second order concept specifically is chronology. And what you'll probably be looking at is, well, basically you'll be using phrases such as this led to. You know, how did this led to Y, X led to Y, and so on and so on. You might use phrases such as a result. Okay, right, so again, what I want to do is I want to demonstrate to you how to get full marks for this. So what I am going to do is write down right down at the very bottom is I'm going to write my success criteria. So how do you get full marks on this? Again, it's marked in AO1 and AO2. This particular paper is the only one where they don't have a level 4. So you will have level 1, level 2, level 3. And again, these levels determine the quality of the answer, not the quality of the grade. It contributes to the paper, to the grade, but is not the final grade. So let's split that up then, and let's have a little look at what a level 2 would look like for AO1, and level 3 would look like for AO1 and AO2. Right, so basically, if you want level 2, that all you need here is you just need to have accurate knowledge in order. If you want level 3 in terms of your subject knowledge, well, it's the same again, but what you're going to do is you're going to do 2 facts per paragraph. And of course, the more precise the better. We're going for precise, always precise. Alright, so the more precise the better. Alright, that's the ambition. Right, let's have a look at AO2 then. So again, AO2 for level 2 is how did X lead to Y? For this question, you need to demonstrate linkage. So how did something lead to something else? Alright, and again for level 3, the mark scheme uses the phrase clear sequence of events. And clear links. So what you need to do, in my view, to do this is to get this right, is you need to create a motif that supports the narrative. So how do you do that? Well, again, you have a 1-sentence introduction. Then you have your beginning paragraph. Your middle paragraph. Your end paragraph. And then your outro. And what you are doing there is you are demonstrating your motif all the way through. How does each one contribute to the other? And how does it lead to that overall narrative that you're referring to? And my motif with this particular question is, because it's about the railroad, I'm going to use increased settlement. And do you know what? If you're ever stuck with the American West, My golden rule is go back to your consequences. So if you're struggling, what knowledge do you have that's relevant to the consequences, or which consequences fit in with the question? And with this one, it is evidently increased settlement. All right, so my motif with this question will be increased settlement. Right, press pause. I'm going to give you 15 minutes. I forgot to tell you, this is an 8-mark question. Normally, this would be a 2 paragraphs, 10 minutes, but this is the only exception to the rule. You are going to spend 15 minutes and you're going to do 3 paragraphs. Okay, so press pause, put a 15-minute timer on your phone to write a narrative account analysing the developments in the spread of the railroads in the years 1862 to 1875. 15 minutes. I'll see you shortly. Hello there. Welcome back. I hope you've spent 15 minutes writing a narrative account analysing the developments in the spread of the railroads in the years 1862 to 1875. What I would like to do now is I'm going to demonstrate my answer, and I'm going to use the success criteria that we created a moment ago. And what we are going to do is we are going to self-assess our own work to see how well we've done. So let's have a little look at this answer. And again, I'm really conscious of my exceptionally ugly handwriting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read it out to you. And as I'm doing it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to annotate AO1, and that is for your knowledge. And then AO2, and that's where I've made links back to the motif. So again, what I said to you before you started is that the main aim, if we're going for 8 marks out of 8, which of course we are, the idea is you need to create a motif that reinforces your story. So let's have a little look at my answer. The development and completion of the Transcontinental Railroad in 1869 hugely contributed to the significantly growing number of settlers moving west to fulfill manifest destiny. Okay, right, so there's my motif. And I've snuck in manifest destiny just as a bit of AO1, but there's my motif. So you can see it there. As I mentioned to you before you started writing, my motif is going to be increased settlement. So let's see how much I refer to that within my answer. Firstly, in 1862, the Pacific Railroad was past commissioning the Union Pacific and Central Pacific Companies money to build a continental railroad connecting east and west. Now, what I've missed out there is missed out the word act. The Pacific Railroad Act. Ironically, my word act looks an awful lot like AO1, but that should say act just there. So again, I'll start again. Firstly, in 1862, the Pacific Railroad Act was passed commissioning the Union Pacific and Central Pacific, AO1, AO1, and AO1, companies money to build a continental railroad connecting east and west. This was funded from money earned after the discovery of gold contributed to the economy, leading to the development of the railroad network. Okay, perfect. Right, so there's my AO1. There's my AO1. All right. The two companies were given 45 million acres of free land to sell to settlers, AO1. And again, because I'm mentioning the settlers here, I'm just going to sneak in a cheeky reference to my motif, to make money and fund the railroad, along with $16,000 per mile loan to help with the cost. This shows the commitment to fulfill manifest destiny by the US government. And there's my link back to my motif. Now, do you know what I probably should have done? Is there could be a bit of a link here. This led to increased settlement because, or this as a result, this increased settlement because. I'm probably missing out a link there, so I'm going to come back to that in a moment when I self-assess. Right, so there's my beginning paragraph. So let me put a massive B just there for beginning. Right, let's have a look at my middle. Then, in 1865, construction began on the 2,000 kilometre journey. So there's AO1 plus, with 12,000 Chinese and Irish labourers dying from poor working conditions. Additionally, thousands of buffalo would be slaughtered, leading late into conflict with the Native Americans. The completion of the railroad shows the importance of connecting east and west to make travelling west easier and shorter, eventually leading to the end of the Oregon Trail. So there it actually is. I presented some facts there, but I'm sort of inferring there my motive. And again, it probably should be more direct. Let's see where I go with this. So that's a really short paragraph where I've just done two events. So I think here, this is AO2, but what I'm going to do is, because it's not a strong direct link to my motive, I'm going to use the word limited next to it. Okay? So yes, I have got a link there, but it's not as strong as it should be. And let's have a look at my final one. Finally, the completion of the railroad in 1869 rapidly increased the rate of settlement west, as railroad companies sold plots of land along the railway, and settlers were encouraged by advertising to take up their claims close to civilization. Moreover, the creation of settlements along the railway allowed settlers to buy and sell farming machinery from the east, allow family members to visit each other, and eventually made the journey easier and cheaper. As a result, the Transcontinental Railroad saw the end of the Oregon Trail, created white settlement on the Great Plains, and a fulfillment of manifest destiny for thousands. There is my outro, or my AO2 outro. Here is my link, or here is more of my AO2, linking back that paragraph there. I've got about advertising. I have got, again, I've mentioned there a bit of my AO2 about a rapidly increasing settlement west. I tell you what is missing here is my huge summary. So allow me to go back to our success criteria that we've put together. So have I got accurate knowledge in order? Yes, I have. Have I got 2 facts per paragraph? Yes, I have. All right. So what I'm going to do is for AO1 is I'm going to demonstrate that is level 3. Have I explained how X led to Y? Well, yeah, I think I have, right? So I'm definitely level 2 as a minimum. Is there a clear sequence of events? Well, there is a sequence of events. Is it clear? I am not so sure. So what I'm going to do is, because I have made links back to my motive, is I'm going to award this as level 3, but I'm going to put it as level 3 minus. And where should I have made more links? Well, I think that there's a link there, back to increased settlement. I think there should be, I've already told you about a link here next to back to increased settlement. And then I think there should be, let me just have a quick look here. There should be a link here, back to increased settlement. So what are we looking for is, if we were to just go for an 8 out of 8 structure, so whereas we go, if we're going event, link, event, link, event, link, eel, maybe where I've done it just like I have here, maybe I sneak in a link to the motif just between these events. All right. But again, the exam board generally tend to be very generous with this question. So they'll probably give me 8 out of 8, but I'm going to be really harsh to myself. I'm going to give myself 7 out of 8. Do you want to now have a quick look at your success criteria? Have a look at your answer to determine how well or how strong your answer is. Thank you very much for your time. I look forward to reading it in class, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.